So it's been about a year since I put out my first silver stacking video. It was a SD Bullion silver sovereign coin starter pack. And how it got to that point was in May of last year, I took ownership of my father's coin collection. And I had no intention of keeping it. I didn't collect coins, knew nothing about it. I was more into sports cards. So I was gonna basically catalog the collection and then just sell it off, over time. But as I started getting into it, I kind of started liking, what it was all about, and decided to keep it. So here we are, 1 year and 500 plus ounces later. I'm gonna just kind of go through the results of my first year of silver stacking. Be a lot of sovereign coins and a lot of constitutional. So I'm going to just pause the video real quick. I will be right back and we'll get right into it. So I'm going to start off with the Silver Eagle. I think this is everything. So as mentioned a moment ago, the first thing I bought was this SD Bullion silver starter pack, which, in here came for each of the Eagle, the Maple Leaf, the Britannia, the Philharmonic, and the Australian Kangaroo. And that was my jumping off point, and my first goal was to kind of finish out a full roll of each of those. And I accomplished that mostly, except for the Kangaroo. So that was, is it these 2024s here? No, that's something else. So this is the first tube I finished of the Eagle, right? I think it's a bunch of 2011s. And kind of like mixed years here. Now, a couple things I learned early on. I really liked these, and I still do, these capsules, but I realize now they're not very practical for stuff like this. It does make them pop a little bit more, but from a storage standpoint, it does add a little more volume. And these tubes are nice also, but I guess, I stopped doing this, and I really just stick to the basic tubes that these come in when you buy 20 at a time. So that's one lesson I learned. So I have this tube here of, I think, Brilliant Uncirculated, whatever. And then one of my other mistakes, probably the biggest mistake, was I picked up another tube of Eagles, but I got them in the Mint Certified roll, which I guess is something you would do if you had plans to send them off to get graded in hopes of getting a perfect grade on them, like a 70. But I don't really care about that. So in hindsight, I probably could have saved like $100 and just got a regular old tube of Eagles from 2025, but live and learn. But anyway, so there's that. So those are really nice for sure. Those are Mint State or Mint Certified. And these other ones here is when I got smart about it. I only focused on basically if I can get them at spot price or very little premium above spot. And so to that end, I ended up picking up over the last year, like 3 different I was able to assemble 3 different tubes. I bought like 29 from one guy and 31 from another guy, all to avoid the tax, the sales tax. And then a couple of randos here that I actually got recently just to get over the threshold for free shipping to Eagles. So I have these 2 tubes, and then these are 3 more, and then these 3 individual. And some of these are really nice. So I focused on like secondary, or I guess cull, and these don't look anything like cull to me. But that's what I do now. I go after, if I'm going to buy Eagles, I'm just going to buy like the used ones. And so you can see these actually have a little bit more activity. There's some tarnish or toning there. So the American Silver Eagle, 5 tubes and 3 randos, and I think that covers all of those. All right, 1 tube each here of the Philharmonic and the Britannia. And I just happened to screw up the names of, I mixed the names up in a prior video, and boy, did I get heat for it. It wasn't intentional. It was just sort of, wasn't thinking. But anyway, just one of tube of 20. I got started with, again, the 4 that came with that SD Bullion starter kit. And then I subsequently bought 16 more somewhere, some online coin dealer, I forget who. And then these are the Philharmonics. And unfortunately, I kind of, in order to get them into the capsule, I had to buy the one with the ring. And therefore, they're bigger. take up more room. And honestly, I would not do this again, right? They look nice, but I don't think it's necessary for coins like this. And then I think I have like another rando, couple randos here. What do I got? Just one. Must have been another spot price deal to pick this one up. This Philharmonic from Austria. I think these are the Krugerrands. Yes, they are. So I picked up I think it was a tube of 20. These were cheap at the time, like $31. So silver's gone up since I started, I want to say like over 30%. It was a lot higher until a few days ago because it was almost $40 an ounce. But basically, I don't know what my cost average is, but the cost basis is, but I typically paid like around, I think the most I paid was like $34 for American Eagles, like one time. So that'd be the most, except for a few sort of random like pandas and such I'll show in a minute. Those were probably the most expensive, but a lot of what I bought was in like the $28 to, I'd say $34 range. So Krugerrands, and then I did have like a rando one, I think, somewhere kicking around. I do have one more. Somewhere. I don't know where. Anyway, those are the Krugerrands. I got basically 21 of those. So here are 4 Australian kangaroos. Never did finish that tube like I did with the other sovereign coins that came with that SD Bullion starter pack. So still just 4 of these here. The Australian silver kangaroo. And then I bought, does not belong there. I bought 3 Chinese pandas. These are a little bit less than 1 ounce. These were expensive. These I paid, I want to say $40 each when I bought them. I think they're 30 grams. Kind of neat, but definitely not something you'd want to stack because of the premium associated with those. Next up, Morgan dollars. Maybe my favorite of the constitutional stuff. So the first round I bought, I kind of regret. Again, brand new. I thought, nicer and shinier were better, but that's not the case. Where did I put those? That wasn't the right one. Here they are. So these were advertised as brilliant uncirculated pre-1921. I paid about $1,000 for these, about $50 a piece. Now, are they brilliant uncirculated? I don't know. They are nice, but in hindsight, I would not do this again. What I would do and did a few times was focus on the 1921 Morgan dollar in VG, what did I get? These are all APMEX, VG Plus to XF condition. And I cleaned a few of these, not a lot, a few of them, and I made videos about that, but this works for me. And I like the Morgan dollars. I remember my father had Morgan dollars. He used to show me as a kid. I take it he sold those when he sold off during the big run-up of, I think it was 2011 or 2012. But these were tubes that were, I think the premium associated with these initially were around $5 a piece. If melt price was like, $26, I was buying these for like $30 from APMEX. So that premium shrunk as the price of silver rose. But I ended up getting 4 of these. Again, all from APMEX. These are it too. And all of them in VG XF condition. Did I get these from APMEX? I think I did. I'm trying to look at it. I don't know why it's not. Maybe I took the sticker. Oh, yeah, I did. The sticker came off. So those are the Morgan dollars. Up next, we'll look at some peace dollars. Peace dollars, 2 tubes of 20. Both of these were considered cull. So the lowest of lowest grades. And I want to say I got these on the dip, like $25 a piece for one of these tubes. Generally, they're considered cull. I mean, you look at stuff like this is pretty much, worn down pretty good. But some look pretty. Like this is probably cleaned, right? This is why it's considered cull, but I don't care. I got these really just for the intrinsic value of the silver itself. So pretty good deal on these. I like the Morgans better, but these are pretty cool. Only 2 tubes of the piece dollars. Yeah, so let's move on. Okay, rounds and bars. 2 things that I early on said I would not have any interest in whatsoever. Well, that changed at some point along the way because here we are. I got 2 tubes of Buffalo rounds. I believe these were spot deals at the time, to the tune of like $640 or something like that. These, I forget where I got these from. I like these better than these. These have a almost a cheap quality look to them. These are, look at that. You see the difference? This is more matte, and this is like really shiny and fake looking, but it's real. I prefer the matte version better. I'm not sure what mint makes these, but still a silver round nevertheless. So two tubes of these, and then the bars. I have 2 only, 2 5-ouncers. I think there was a spot deal on this website, bullion.com. And I got these nifty little cases to go over them. So rounds and bars, that's the extent of it here. All right, a bunch of random crap I threw here just to cover it all. So what do we got? We have, all right, so I bought this. Now, I'm not big on the numismatic side of coin collecting, but I thought this was kind of neat. This MS-78 era Silver Eagle, which I got from SD Bullion. It was like $100 something. This is one of my first purchases. I wouldn't do this again. I bought this right from the mint, the Canadian Mint directly. This is a Privy, Polar Bear Privy, I think, for the 2024 Maple Leaf. Yeah, and then I got 5 of these First Strike Mint Direct. Are these, what are these? Star Privy Eagles from APMEX, obviously. 1, 2, 3, so 5 of those. And then these are 1.5 ounces from the Solomon Islands, Lady Liberty. So these are 1.5 ounces each. So that's 6 ounces of silver there, right? So I got those. And then I think Monument Metals had a special on 90% $1 silver commemoratives. I picked up like 10 of them. And the variety wasn't all that great. I got mostly these We the People ones. But I got 10 of them. I want to say they were like $27 when I picked them up. 10 of those. And then, what else? This was recently, I got a starter pack from Money Metals. And it included some rounds. This is a 1 ounce Walking Liberty round, 1/2 ounce. And then this little 5 10th ounce Walking Liberty rounds. And over here I got a few. This is a random purchase. These are commemoratives. 2023 Peace Dollar, Morgan Dollar. One's a proof, one's not, or something. I don't know. These were purchased just like this. No box, no COA, whatever. I just thought they were kind of neat. So I got those. I guess at this point, let's get into the constitutional stuff. I guess the piece dollars and Morgans are considered constitutional, but what I really meant was like the dimes, quarters, and $half, I guess. So here is what I've amassed up to this point. Now, early on, I did the whole on fire guy, some of these were just really nice, so I wanted to put them in capsules at the time. I have a handful of the proof, like the proof set silver, 90% silver. Like these are Kennedy halves, a roll of 20, and these were produced, 2000 to 2018, I think. So these are just really nice. So I thought I'd put them in here. So I got some Kennedy halves here in this tube, and then brilliant uncirculated Franklin halves. Really nice. And there. And then this is these. All right, so these came from my father's collection. He had these, just a 1964 Kennedy. They look uncirculated. And so I put them in the capsules and I put them in this tube. So this actually, I didn't buy these. These came from my father's collection. The blue tape ones are what I took out of my father's coin books. And I'm going to, let's see, you got the quarters, and they're really in rough shape. If you can tell, look at that, right? So these are all be considered cull condition. I think I made a list. I have to maybe need a quarter or a dime to finish out like a complete tube of, like, say 50 dimes, for example. I might have 49 dimes in there. Walking Liberties. He had in a book, but he didn't have any like the big dates, like the really rare ones that are worth a lot of money. So mostly common dates. So the blue tape ones were my father's collection. The other ones that don't have tape are the ones I've purchased. And so I've got a Kennedy halves, and I think these were, I don't know how I bought these. I mean, you can see they're kind of, well, these are nice quality. Well, these are proofs. So another, I got 2 rolls of the proofs apparently of Kennedy halves. 2017 here. I know I did buy from SD Bullion like mixed rolls. Here's some Walking Liberties here. I like those. Kennedy halves, Franklin halves, Walking Liberties is not quite full. I do need to finish. I think I need like 6 Franklins and 3 Walking Liberties or something like that to make a complete tube. So I'm going to do that at some point. So here are some quarters, 1964, that's 1961. These are brilliant uncirculated. That's how I bought these. Nice shiny quarters, 90%. And then these are going to be those proof quarters that really inexpensive. I mean, these are just really nice condition, nice and shiny. Like these state quarters. And I have 3, I guess 1, 2, 3 tubes of those. Of the state quarters. Put this over here. Dimes we showed. Father's quarters here. And then, some dimes. I got 1 tube of mercury dimes and then 1 tube of proof dimes. And because the proof dimes sit on the edge, their edges, like I couldn't fit it in a standard dime tube. I had to go with a penny tube. Those are proof dimes. Basically cracked out of proof sets. 90% silver. Dimes, quarters, halves. These are the mercury dimes. Bought these. These are brilliant circulated, supposedly. So I got a tube of mercury dimes. And then here, I have these Washington quarters, Washington half dollars. And I've got, 10, 20, I think 30 of them. So those. And then as far as other constitutional goes, there's this coin book. The one coin book, I just upgraded it. He had a really old one. It was blue, and I got the new one. And he had a full set. Has a full set here of these Franklin halves. Really nice set. And I stuck a random one in there at the end just because it said variety. I just put one upside down. So this came from my father, and I think that is everything. So I'm not going to duplicate the last year this year. No way. I'm going to maybe pick up a few things here and there. Maybe this will run its course at some point, and I'm just going to put this aside. I did dabble in gold a little bit also. I've got these low premium gold. These are $5 and $10 U.S. commemorative coins. Yes, these I purchased last October, I think, time frame. So a little bit of gold, much easier to store, obviously, because a lot less of it covers a lot more value. But that's it. That's 1 year. So initially I was thinking just sovereign silver, no rounds, no bars. And then over time, that tune changed a little bit. I got away from the plastic stuff like these On Fire Guy tubes and capsules and just back to basics. Now going forward, what I do is I try to focus on just deals. I find that, findbillionprices.com is a great resource to see who's got silver at spot. And also who has stuff on sale. And so if I'm going to buy another tube of Eagles, I'll just wait till I see either a circulated, special or call or something like that. I don't really care for the new shiny stuff. I got enough of that. I have a good representation in the collection of that stuff already. And beyond what you see here, there's other commemorative sets that I didn't bring out that my father had. Those box sets with the Peace dollars and Morgan dollars, Kennedy halves. And then really the best thing he had that I took on was his graded American Eagle 1986 to 2024 proof PR70 set, which I have in a separate case. And I have a separate video for that. If you're interested, you can go back and see that. But that's it. That's 1 year of stacking silver accumulated over, I think it was like 520 or whatever. It's over 500 ounces. So yeah, hope you hung in there till the end. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.